Hi, Nick and Billy, maternal child health nurse and mum of a 3.5-year-old and 1.5-year-old over here. So glad Billy spoke at our last conference, as that's what got me following along for personal and professional reasons. Attachment, I have to say, is one of the areas that constantly makes my head spin. When I see a child sometimes, I find it hard to distinguish between signs of insecure attachment versus the child's temperament. Sometimes it's very obvious, but other times it's so subtle. I even get confused by this in my own home, as my two children are incredibly different in this area. My son, 3.5, has always been a confident and social child, never cries in daycare drop-off, in fact sometimes doesn't want to come home, has never been hugely affectionate physically with anyone, loves the occasional cuddle on his terms, but loves communicating in other ways and chatting. He always is keen to go to his mate's house, etc. He's so social and comfortable in the presence of others that it can sometimes feel like he prefers it. I see other kids get so upset at drop-off and always stay close to their parents during outings that I worry I've done something wrong. During his first year of life, my mum passed away, slowly and quite horribly. She was hospitalised for many months, and as it was during COVID, he could never come with me to visit her, as only I was allowed. It meant that he spent a lot of time with other family or friends during this period, and I always told myself that that's why he's so confident in this space. Now I'm wondering if somehow, through my own grief, I caused him to have insecure attachment. In the years since, I've tried to do my best to foster secure attachment, and I feel I've been as consistent as a human parent can be. Still though, he would often rather space and alone time to work through some big emotions than a big cuddle and reassurance from us. We still offer this every single time though. Developmentally, he's doing great, probably exceeding expectations if I'm honest, so no concerns there. What made me analyse all of this further is that his sister, now 1.5, is very physically affectionate, displays much more typical signs of secure attachment. Definitely would have demonstrated this in the room with the stranger activity you spoke of. I feel I may be venting a bit here, but I suppose I'm looking for help to identifying what can just be a social and outgoing temperament versus insecure attachment. Keep up the great work. I'll keep spreading the word to all the new parents in my area about how amazing this podcast is.
Yeah, wonderful.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so yes, I think both of those kids are being described as having secure attachment.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between temperament and attachment is important. They're two of the biggest predictors of childhood development trajectories and future adult mental health. Temperament is more of a personal component of who we are, and it's fairly set. You know, I have in throwback to parenthood and the sensitive kid episode we did, I have a very sensitive temperament. Now, there is a vulnerability in my attachment because of that, because of the reactions I have are quite big. You know, I can kind of have strong emotional responses to my environment and interactions with others. Mm-hmm. But it's really, you know, we can harness that. So as I've always said, a person who has a sensitive temperament, or the orchids, as Boyce would say, can flourish when you realise how to support them and respond to them. And it's really important that you're in tune with those kids. But attachment is very variable. It's very modifiable in both ways. That's the beautiful thing about it. But what the boy is showing, and maybe there was a little bit of vulnerability when there was a challenge to attachment, when the grandparent was sick and all of that stuff. But another key feature of secure attachment is that most interactions with others are positive. So a lot of kids that we see, most of them are negative. Both the kids I've talked about today, the primary school kid and the high school kid, either have negative experiences, the primary school kid with older peers, or don't have any experience with peers as the older kid. So what the young boy is showing is that he delights in others and they delight in him. And that's often a sign of secure attachment. The example of Evie, not going to her, she has to come to me. If I go to her, she runs. We've got to tailor it. The boy, you know, is less kind of physically affectionate and everything in how he gets soothed. The girl, the younger sister, loves all of that stuff. So it's not because a child, loves cuddles, so shows secure attachment. It's that they benefit from the support of others and the interaction of others. They succeed more and explore more because of the delight in others and the encouragement of others, mainly primary caregivers, but then others as well. And that extends beyond toddlerhood, which is why this boy is doing it. The girl is still in that stage where primary caregivers are the main reinforcer of that, and she's got a different temperament that means that she's more kind of intimate and close contact and all that stuff. So, yeah, I think both of those are showing that. It's an important distinction between the two, and a really good important distinction between two different temperaments in two siblings that are both showing signs of secure attachment.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep, makes sense.
But we will. I've parked the difficult drop-offs, I think, for the next follow-up. This podcast is brought to you by Guiding Growing Minds, a social enterprise that aims to give all children the best opportunity to reach their potential and succeed in living rich and meaningful lives.